guys, I'm Kevin Secours, and today I'm going to be giving you a quick review of this little product here. It is the Away electric cupper. Now, first off, guys, I want to just say that I was not paid in any way for this promotion. They sent it to me for free for a review, and so I'll give you my objective feedback on this. Secondly, with regards to cupping, if you're not familiar with it, it's a very ancient practice. It's used in different parts of Asia and the Middle East. It came to prominence when Michael Phelps most remarkably showed up to a pool one day with these giant suction cup marks on his back. It looked like he had lost a fight with an octopus, and then suddenly everybody was looking into cupping. I was first introduced to cupping back in the early 90s from one of my Kung Fu Sifus. He used to do acupuncture and cupping on me, and I realized there's a lot of mysticism, there's a lot of wild claims about cupping, that it can do everything from cure disease and purge cancer and stop arthritis. But what I do think is real about cupping, and what I've seen in research that makes sense to me and that matches my experience, is I think that cupping is probably functioning at some myofascial level where it's kind of separating tissue, pulling a lot of blood flow to that area and encouraging circulation, probably triggering a heightened healing response. More than that, I think cupping operates on what is known as gate theory, which in pain circles is this idea that touch receptors can override and intercept pain stimuli. Case in point, you stub your toe, you rub your toe, and the rubbing can intercept and somehow dullen or mute down that pain receptor because the receptors are simply dominant in the body, larger channels, alpha road to high road responses. So I think cupping does some of that. What I've seen in my own experience is that when I have an injury, it's kind of droning, kind of difficult to identify. I recently had a shoulder injury and it was really hard to pinpoint exactly what was wrong with it, even going to physio and doing all sorts of rehab. And I'm not a big fan of taking lots of pills and things for anti-inflammation and pain. And cupping is really a nice way of just kind of bringing a different awareness to that area. So what you get in this case, guys, it's pretty straightforward. You have your instruction manual when you open it up. You got on the side here, there's some replacement filters, a USB charging cord, and a lanyard. The unit itself is pretty simple, extremely durable, really well made, so I think it would be good not only for personal use, but probably for professional use as well. You have this little screw-off flange here, and you can replace these filters. I've yet to replace one. I think you might need to do it more if you were using a lot of lotion and creams and things like that, which they promote. I haven't. I've been using it dry because I'm lazy. The charge time is purported to be about 4 hours. I will tell you, it came charged out of the box. I've definitely used it much more than 4, probably 6. It still holds up. It's got all sorts of different settings on it, different speeds and rhythms. I've played through them. I don't really have a preference. This is how simple it is. So let's say we take some tissue. We simply put it on to make sure that that seal is nice and flat, and you hold down that start button for about 2 to 3 seconds. It will immediately start to suck the tissue up. So you'll see that it holds on there. It's pulling it up, so you have a little Jiffy Pop mound of skin. Looks like you're birthing an alien fetus through your shoulder. Feels like some deep suction. There's sometimes a little bit of not pinching, but a little bit of prickling on the skin. Nothing uncomfortable, very pleasant. This is my injured shoulder. It's still a little bit tender on days. And when I first got this, I cupped all around the circumference, and it was fantastic. Usually going to leave that on for about 3 to 5 minutes. You can do other stuff. You can walk around. The only downside to cupping, if you call it a downside, is that it will leave a very pronounced circular mark. Looks like a perfectly circular alien crop circle bruise or some kind of strange vacuum hickey. That's it. I'd be a little bit careful about when you're doing it or where you're doing it if you don't want to have any skin discoloration. That circle normally takes a few days to go away. I've got my robust, pale Irish French skin that burns under neon light, so I tend to have a pretty good mark for 2 to 3 days. I have one on this shoulder just to show you a comparison. That is about a day old, just to show you what it would look like. They tend to brown and get a little bit duller on my complexion after a few days. But super comfortable, feels very good. I like to slap it on and just kind of lay back and relax, just don't fall asleep. And that's it. And then to remove it, guys, it's as easy as holding down that button for a second or two. I find the vacuum, it's pretty easy to break off, and you'll see that's what it looks like immediately. It's very comfortable. The skin is not in any way sensitive, and it's just a nice little added tool in my toolbox. It's not an everyday tool for me. This is something that is kind of at the top tier if I'm doing all my normal rehab, my stretching, my mobility, my breathing. I use massage guns regularly. These guys also make a fantastic massage gun. But there are just days, and sometimes in the case of my shoulder, I had to rehab it with this quite regularly. And it really, really helped. So beautifully made, really nice construction. If you are interested in cupping, this is a lot easier than the traditional methods and having to combust things. You can do it alone to most areas. If you can reach it, you can do it. And I just want to thank the guys at Ached Away for sending this to me, because at the end of most days, I need all the King's horses and all the King's men to put Kevin back together again. So this is a definite tool I'm going to be using. My 12-year-old son was addicted to this when it first came in. He was using it nonstop. I could never find it. So it's a lot of fun, and it may be a good fit for your program. Thanks again, guys.